Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 50 of Weird Mind Newsroom, where this week, of course, we're continuing my usual weekly show, where I delve into all the new releases that have come out this week, a lot of the new trailers that have came out as well, and some news stories that I came across on my travels. So, let's not waste too much time, and let's get into the 50th episode special. So we start off the new releases of this week with focusing on an all-new, all-action film to focus on the group of people that risk their lives for stuff too dangerous for the big stars to do. And that comes to us in the form of the new action movie of The Fall Guy. Now, loosely based on a TV series in the 80s, the film follows Colt Seavers, a stuntman past his prime who was hired for the role of a stuntman for the famous actor of Tom Ryder. For the new film has been the directorial debut of his ex-partner. But when the lead actor goes missing and the movie is in jeopardy of being shelved, Colt will step out to become the hero, find the missing actor, and save the movie. Now, reception on this film has been very well received, with praise to the cast, particularly towards the leads of Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, the action, humour, and the praise and respect towards a group that is often overlooked, and well deserved the recognition as well. And if you're up for an entertaining action flick, then you can catch this new film now in cinemas. But if you're looking for a bit more of a muscular the tone of action with some muscular people, or of the lady side of big buff women. I know one in particular who's been working well on their big muscle journey, and I'm very proud of their progress as it is. Enjoy seeing their progress. Then you're in luck, as we have an all-new romantic thriller that's been appealing to the mass in the US for the last few weeks, and has the form of the movie of Love Lies Bleeding. And this film will follow the characters of Lou, played by Kristen Stewart, a reclusive gym manager who falls in hard for Jackie, played by Kathy O'Brien, an ambitious bodybuilder who's heading to Vegas to pursue her dream, and soon their love will lead to violence to get pulled deep into the web of Lou's criminal family. Now, reception of this film has also been very well received for its performances, especially the main leads of Kathy O'Brien and Kristen Stewart, seeing a massive new audience, particularly for Kathy, and for enjoying her work, as well as the gripping tale it will build on, as well as some element of the romance between the leads. And if you want to check this out, this beefy workout, then you can check this new film out now in cinemas. Let's hope your fortune is in favor for yourself in the next movie on our list out this week, as we have the all-new horror film known simply as Tarts. Now, based loosely on the horror story of Horoscope, hearing it now sounds like a better name, it will follow a group of 7 friends who will unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within a cursed deck of tarot cards, and one by one they come face to face with fate, racing against death to escape the future foretold in their readings. Now, reception on this film has been massively panned, as has been critiqued for its nonsensical plot and lack of scares, or even to be showed the scares or deaths in general, and for the mixed opinion on the cast, with some small praise for the concept that fumbled the execution. It just really seems that horror lately has been a bit all over the place, with some exceptions like Immaculate, Late Night of the Devil, and First Omen even for some case. But if you want to discover your fate and fortune, then you can check out this new film out now in cinemas. And the last of the new films for this week is seeing the feature directorial debut for the man that created classic series television in the 90s, as well as having the group of writers back from the film that did about some bees that was a meme phenomenon. Jerry Seinfeld is here to bring us his new Battle of the Breakfast film with Unfrosted, the Pop-Tart story. Now, this is based on a true-ish story which sees the film set in the 1960s and follows the route between the two cereal giants of Kellogg's and Post to be the first to fight against one another in creating the newest innovative form of pastry-based breakfast food that will define a generation and change the way we have the most important meal of the day. Now, reception of this film has been a fair bit mixed to not really that well received, as there is praise for the ensemble cast and the concept of the film, but more issues stem in the lack of innovation or the lack of substance to this film. But if you're up for something that may be a hidden sweet treat, then you can catch this new film now on Netflix. Moving over to television, where we question, is it really laughter we're after, or is it scares to the bears? As we have received the all-new 2nd season of the Pixar television series adaptation of Monsters at Work. Now, this new series will pick up after the events of the original film, with the first season taking place in between the middle of the end of the film, and takes place about 9 months after the end of that movie, where we see Tyler Tusquin, a new jokester, finding it hard to adjust from changing to scare power to laugh power, and when an old face of Johnny Worthington from Monster University appears and offers him a career at a rival company of Fearco, and soon it will bring some tension, mixed emotions, a lot of monsters to work all this out. Now, while I have not seen as many reviews for this season as the moment, the reaction so far for the series, similar to the first season, is decently received. For the concept of building on the idea from the end of the first film and seeing more familiar faces from the films is always a highlight. Hopefully there'll be some more, in particular a certain Kappa group that was also part of the original prequel film. I've watched the first few episodes, they're pretty decent so far, but if it's laughter you're after, then you can check out the first full 2 seasons now on Disney+. And wrapping up the new releases for this week is taking us to the depths of the vast undiscovered or discovered blue waves that cover most of our planet, as we have the all-new game and entry in the Endless Ocean series with Luminous. Now in this game you will take on the role of a scuba diver tasked with encountering and documenting marine life, and for the first time in the series to explore the vast depths with up to 30 other divers from online play. Now reception of this game has seen a fair bit of mixed reception, with praise for the visuals and calmness of the game to enjoy, though the concept of the game may get a little bit tiresome after a short stint of time. But if you're up for a deep sea exploration and some blissful times, you can get this new game now on the Nintendo Switch. And with all that now, that's all the new releases that we have for this week.
They just killed my dad. Forget all that. An African catchphrase.
Now the first of the trailers for this week is bringing us back to the world of a video that I have been working on for a bit and then put on the back burner for a long while and actually need to get back to doing it, at least for the first part of it in particular, and that is with a new look at one of the upcoming live action remakes from Disney in particular. As after a fair bit of time, we have finally received the first look at the only live action remake of this year, and that is in the form of Mufasa, the Lion King. Now this film, of course, is a prequel sequel to the 2019 original remake and will follow the story of a young Mufasa and will tell the tale of how this small lion cub will go from an orphaned lion to becoming one of the most greatest rulers of the Pride Lands, as well as seeing the relationship and fallout with his brother Scar. Now, besides the elements that this film kind of goes against the elements of the lore that we've known about Mufasa from the animated version and the live action film, having something new in the universe of the story is interesting, as it would be a logical sense to just go with the surprisingly decent sequel or the midquel. Instead, go back to the tales of the original ruler. I could say that it does have one thing I liked the live action original, and that it does look stunning. It looks like a National Geographic film in particular. And hopefully we can have a little more emotion in this one, because that was kind of missing heavily in the last movie, but I have my expectations quite low for that. But I'm sure we'll see how it turns out when this releases just before Christmas on December 20th. And next trailer will be hitting the road with a group of newfound family, as we have probably the final trailer for the upcoming biker drama of The Bike Riders. Now, this film is set in the 1960s, inspired by a fictional story from a photo book from 1967 that follows the rise of the Vandals MC, a Chicago outlaw biker group, and told through the eyes of the gang members and their families, and will show the story of it evolving over the course of a decade from a surrogate family for local outcasts into violent organized crime, and may threaten the original founder's vision and way of life. Now, I do like the aesthetic and have been hearing a lot of decent praise from its premiere late last year at some film festivals, and even seeing some potential award season work, and it may be worth getting their leather jacket and revving up the bikes as this rides its way into cinemas on June 21st. The next trailer for this week is coming to us from an all-out battle of the soups that may end in a bloodbath, as of course we've received an all-new trailer for the 4th season of The Boys. Now the newest season will be getting political, as Victoria Newman is becoming increasingly closer to the Oval Office with the help of the tight control power of Homelander, who is consolidating his power in particular. Now with more at stake than ever, the Boys and Butcher will need to find a way to collaborate and save the world before it is too late and everything falls apart. Now it does seem to be the case that while many other hero franchises have seen a mixed opinion as of late, it seems like this one may be more to seeing the popularity stick to the highly anticipated, and does look like it's going to be big and exciting and quite bloody. And we don't have to wait too long for this in particular as well, as this new season will be dropping in a little over a month's time on June 13th. And the final trailer for this week just dropped a couple hours before I started recording this, and this is coming to us on Star Wars Day in particular, May the 4th, and of course taking us to a galaxy far, far away, and really taking us back a long, long time ago, as we are going back to the beginning of a legacy and mystery, as an all-new trailer for the new series of The Acolyte. Now in this series, it is set a century before the events of the Phantom Menace, where it follows a former Padawan reuniting with their former Jedi Master to investigate a series of crimes and murders of fellow Jedis, but soon discover the forces that they will confront will be more sinister than they ever anticipated. Now, the series has seen some backlash, of course, is based on the usual group that will complain when there's a sense of diversity or it's more main focusly with women or something, and they'll complain that it's ruining their stuff or basically ruining masculinity methods, but like, go touch grass. But in reality, they're overblowing the concept when, in my opinion, this looks really interesting and very cool. I look forward to checking this out when it premieres with a 2-episode start in a month's time on June 4th. And with all that, that's all the trailers that we have for this week.
This is eerie.
So on to the news now. We start off the news stories with a small little update about delving into the change of a release date for an upcoming project. Now, it is not a film that has been delayed out of the year, but close to it, and this comes in the form of the upcoming Sony Marvel movie of Kraven the Hunter. Now, initially the film was planned for release on August 30th of this year, after initially planned for release on October 6th of last year, but is now being delayed by about 3.5 months to December 13th of this year. Now, it's unclear for the reason why this film is delayed, but it is also going to be releasing now in a very tough competition period, as it's now taking the spot of the Karate Kid movie they were making, which has now been delayed till May of next year, but it's also going to have some stiff competition, with it releasing the same weekend as Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. A week later, it will be going up against Mufasa Lion King, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and the new Jordan Peele film, and 2 weeks after the upcoming sequel to Moana. So it may be another concerning box office for this shared universe from Sony that has been seeing a fair mixed bag of opinions in reception and box office, but it could surprise and be the best of the series. But I guess we'll have to find out when the film releases just before the holiday season this year. But what are your thoughts on this film being delayed, and do you see this as being a good thing or a bit of a mess? And do you think it will get delayed again? I feel maybe, but I think it's probably going to stick December release. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. This next story is bringing up a new take on a series that has been in the public discussion as of late, but not for the most positive reasons. But it's nothing to do with this other series in particular we're discussing about, as we're talking on a new adaptation for a large streaming service. Now, it's been discussed for the last few days that Netflix may be receiving an all-new live-action TV series based on those sleuthing kids and the talking dog of Scooby-Doo. Now, it has been possibly worked on from the executive producer of Riverdale, from Greg Berlanti, who also worked on some of the other CW superhero shows as well as the show has a concept of being written by Josh Applebaum, who did Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movies, and the recently Amazon Prime series of Citadel, and also written by Scott Rosenberg, who did the Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and Next Level movies, as well as the first Venom film. Now, it's unclear if it will bring a massive change of appeal, as it can cause a fair amount of discussion for mainly 2 reasons. First, it can come down to the likes of the concern that it may become like a Riverdale situation, where it can be appealing from the start of the show, where like maybe the first 2 seasons is really well liked, but then as time goes on, it gets a bit over the top, like how Riverdale, apparently they all gain superpowers, a lot of musical episodes and all that other stuff, where it just gets completely off the radar. There's also a similar case, similar to how Sabrina ended, where apparently it was really good for most of it, and apparently the ending was a bit hit or miss to people. And the other issue is mainly with the mixed appeal of another mature version of Scooby-Doo series, due to the over-mature series out now, and as of course, Velma. And going off what I have heard or seen online of season 2, it's all over the place. Although it has redeemed a character that was also very disliked from the masses beyond this series, and people are thinking perhaps to treat them too harshly. Now, it can bring some concern that I'm sure it is early days, and we can give it a chance before we can judge the outcome. That's how I thought with Velma, and then look how that turned out. But if there's one thing that everyone is hoping for with this project, is that we see the return of the cast for original live action films, or in particular with Matthew Lillard coming back as a form of Shaggy. So I guess we have to find out more as this development is made. Like Scoob, I hope we get to see Shaggy. But what are your opinions on a new adaptation of Scooby-Doo in the form of a live action series, and do you think it'll work? And I'd like to know what your favorite version of the talking dog is in particular. Is it the live action ones, the animated ones, which one in particular? But let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. Now, the next story for this week is delving into talking about a new adaptation in the world of video game adaptations, of course, and in particular a series that has seen more spin-offs with the most random of names before a new entry of the franchise of a normal numbered one gets released. We have seen a lot of crossovers in video games in particular as well over the many decades, of course, the likes of big fighting games like Super Smash Bros., Mortal Kombat vs. DC, Marvel vs. Capcom, and even to non-fighting games like PlayStation Move Heroes, Crash Purple, Spyro Orange, and Lego Dimensions. But it is one of the most popular JRPGs, as well as a case of crossover with one of the biggest film companies in this world that we are talking about on today's story. It has been confirmed that we may be getting a new film adaptation of the video game series of Kingdom Hearts. Now, if you're unaware of what the series of Kingdom Hearts is about, you play as a character named Sora, a young kid with very spiky hair and some big ass shoes who become mixed up with a selective group of Disney characters, in particular Donald and Goofy, and are visiting many films from their franchise like Hercules, Beauty and the Beast, Tangled, all these different ones from Disney and Pixar in particular. And the case of also crossing over with characters from their games like Final Fantasy, The World Ends With You, and many other studios in the JRPG of Square Enix. And with the power of the weapon of the Keyblade to help save the world from the massive army known as the Darkless. Oh, the Heartless! We gotta find the Heartless! The series has been around for about 2 decades now and has spawned 13 games in the franchise with 3 main titles and multiple spin-offs. And with Kingdom Hearts 4 also now confirmed in the works, where Sora now has normal human hands and feet. It's really kind of weird. And it has been a discussion for a bit of time that initially started as a planned TV series, but has now been confirmed to be made into a film. However, it is unclear now what form it's going to be, as it started off as rumors earlier this week that it was an animated film, but now some more rumors have started to come out since yesterday that it might be looking at a live-action CGI mix similar to the likes of the Space Jam movies, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, or even the most recent live-action Rescue Rangers movie. But I guess we all have to see what the outcome is of the planned form for this project. Now, I'm hoping more to an animated side of things, because live-action CGI mix will look a bit weird, but I'm sure if this series is successful, it will not be long before we get the likes of a Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep of 358.5 days of Dreamed Up Distance Rebrush Remaster Deluxe DX film, or whatever the fuck it'll be called before we get like a proper sequel to this movie. It'd be like multiple spin-offs, just named with random shit. But what are your own thoughts with the likes of a film adaptation for Kingdom Hearts film, and do you think it's a decent enough series in particular to see work as a franchise in particular? And also, just a side note for later, do you want me to see me play a gameplay walkthrough of the Kingdom Hearts games in particular? I might play them on my channel at some point soon. Let me know what you think of all those opinions are down below in the comments. And now the final story for this week is delving into the world of the supernatural that also ties a little into a classic tale found right here many years ago on the information superhighway in the realm of YouTube, as we're talking on the form of an adaptation of an internet mystery story. Now, we have seen a fair few concepts in the internet being made into stories with some successes like the Twitter thread story of Zola, or even Lights Out, a mixed discussion like Skinamarink, and one that really missed the mark in the form of Dear David. But this new one is taking on a niche series that has a bit of a mystery to the outcome end of it, and it's a project that appeared in mass discussion from social media in the last few years, and comes in the discussion of a series known as Paranormal Paranoids. Now, the series was a ghost hunting group on YouTube that follows 4 friends of David, Peter, Laura, and the main focal one of Riley, as they explored some of the spooky mysteries of their hometown of Ohio, and saw a resurgence of the mystery of what happened to the videos and series, as well as the group after a very cryptic ending left things uncertain of what happened to them. But now it seems to be the case that we may be going to build upon that mystery, as it was announced that we are getting a film based on the project known as Shelby Oaks. Now, the focus for this film's story in particular, it will be focusing on a character named Mia, who is Riley's sister, who has been frantically looking for her sister after she disappeared at the end of her last tape that was released. And her group, and as the deception to finding her grows, she begins to think that the imaginary demon Riley saw when she was younger may be more real than she thinks. If you want to know more context in the story, you can check out the actual series on YouTube, which is by Jenna the Paranoid, or you can watch like the discussion videos by both Rain Knight or Nightmind. They're both really good videos if you want to check them out. Now, the film in particular, we do know is that it's got 2 names involved in the development of this project, with the first being that this is being written, produced, and directed by YouTuber and reviewer of Chris Struckman. And the most recent new addition that was announced this week is the inclusion of Master of Tension and Horror of Mike Flanagan, who you may know as the creator of Haunting of Hill House, Blind Manor, and Midnight Mass, and who will be joining in as an executive producer. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sure, there can be concern of the likes of it being directed by a YouTuber, but it has shown that some creative people have come from this, this particular website in particular. As the example of one is, of course, The Backrooms. If you notice the case, that 17-year-old kid is now making a film adaptation of The Backrooms that's coming some point soon. It's got him executive producing it or directing it, and also worked with A24, I believe, or Blumhouse. So he's doing well. And in particular, there was a film that came out last year, one of the best reviewed horror films of Talk to Me, was directed by 2 YouTubers in particular. So it could turn out well. So, there could be some success. Now, we'll have to be seeing whatever the project does come out, which I feel is probably going to be the next year or 2. But once I do hear anything, I'll update in a later piece. But what are your thoughts on a film based on the internet mystery like Paranormal Paranoids? And do you think this will turn out well or a bit of a mess? Let me know what you think of it all down below in the comments. And with all of that, that's all the news stories that we have for this week. And now, with all of that, this brings us to the end of episode 50 of Weird Mind Newsroom. I thank you all for listening to me ramble for probably be over 20 minutes now at this point, but coming up to a year of me making content, it's completely nuts. Anyways, here's a few little updates I have for the moment. So, the Aquaman 2 review is out now on my channel, which you can go check out in the link in the description, or you can check out my channel in particular, you can just click on it there. My review for Hazbin Hotel, that is currently filmed. I just kind of edit now in a little bit, and I'll get onto that in a moment. And in any case, I just finished writing up the review for Argyle. I'm going to film at some point this week, as well as get started on the video for one of the audience choices. In particular, the choice for this one is so very important to me, is getting their vocal video, where I've got a few content ideas I'm going to build on a hopefully long enough video in some capacity, kind of a discussion piece, long form opinion, maybe a bit of a review in there as well, but that's kind of my focal point with this bit. Other aspects, I need to get looking on the rewatchathon as well. It's some bits I'm going to have to actually record some stuff. I do have some other bits down the line. I know in the case instance that I have won tickets to a certain premiere that's on next Tuesday, that I probably will talk about next week, that comes out next week. I will be doing some gameplays. I'm going to figure out, need to maybe just get a capture card probably, or figure out some method to get PlayStation, Xbox content and Switch content all the way over to my OBS on this laptop. It's been a bit hit or miss. I need to get looking into it properly again. I'm here, there, and bloody everywhere lately. I'm tired, insomniac. It's a mess. Other things, I'm going to do more long form videos. I'm going to get a rewatchathon done. I'm going to get some more reviews done. I might change one of them. Might be more recent one. Like, I did watch the Knuckles series. I might do Monsters of Work. I'll get to Fall Guy maybe the next day or two. I don't know if I might go on Monday or not. I'll see. Yeah, there's a few things I'll probably check out and do some updates over time. You're going to see the content. It will come along, But at the time, of course, sometimes I'm going to make sure I don't get the burnout. That's the worst thing. But yeah, that's all I have for the moment. So I'm going to leave it there. So if you enjoyed my content and want to see more from me, and more frequently as well, more videos every week, then you can like the video and subscribe, as I do upload weekly and hope to plan to upload more and more as I get the content ready. Let me know what your thoughts on everything that was discussed this week down below. Did your opinions on the new releases? Have you seen any of them in particular? What are your thoughts on the trailers? And I'd love to hear your opinions about all the news content from this week, about the 4 stories in particular. But yeah, I think I'll leave it for there. I'm getting a bit tired. It's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm kind of getting a bit woozy, but that's kind of that case. But I hope you will enjoy this in my ramblings, and as always, I hope you all stay being wonderful people, because you all are wonderful people. Have a great day every day, and of course, keep being you, because no one else can do what you do, and I enjoy watching your content and seeing you grow, and love to create this whole community with all of you. And I also like to thank you for listening to me rambling for 50 plus episodes of weekly stuff, because I started with a concept of thinking, might as well start YouTube. Fuck it, let's talk all things me. But anyways, I'll leave it there. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. So take care everyone, and goodbye.